Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp. Now you might think this is an odd way to start a video showing you a drawer filled with scrap bits of paper. What I'd like to know from you guys is what you do with your offcuts and your scraps once you've finished your projects. Now I can't be the only person who has a drawer, and I actually have 4 of these, which has scrap bits and odds and ends from where you finished your projects but you don't want to throw the scrap bits away. Now some of them obviously you end up with nice big sheets that you can use for mats and layers and other projects, but sometimes you end up with just sort of random shapes and odds and ends where you cut single bits out of them, and I often wonder what to actually do with it, and I think, am I ever really going to use it again? So I was really interested in finding out how I could make the most out of my cardstock and what I could actually do to try and create cards and use it up. So today that's what I'm going to show you, is a couple of cards that I've made using just odds and ends that I found in these boxes. So let's get started. So I wanted to start by showing you 2 paper packs that I'll be using in my cards today. So I've been making quite a lot of cards from both of these, that's why I got a lot of the scraps and cut-offs that I wanted to use. So the first one, we've got the Hunky Dory Miri Craft Stacks. This is the Magical Mermaids pad. So this has got 6 die-cut Miri topper sheets and 6 printed Miri sheets. So this paper pack is really nice to use. The colours, as you can see from the front, they're just so rich, and obviously you've got that Miri finish to it, so they make really lovely cards. The second, we've got the Paper Boutique. So this is Ocean Secrets. So this is the 8x8 decorative paper, so it's 36 sheets in total and there's 6 designs of each. It also has a couple of sheets in there which has got toppers, so you can cut them out and pop them onto your cards as well, so it all sort of ties in together. So like I said, I've got a lot of scraps and cut-offs from both of these pads, and I thought if we put them together it would be a really nice sort of contrast between the Miri, and obviously this is quite subtle, quite pastel colours, and these are quite vibrant, so I'm hoping it's going to look really nice together. So let's get started on our card. So here are a couple of the bigger leftovers that I've got from both paper packs, and what I'm going to be doing is cutting strips out of these, and that's going to make up our card. So again, it doesn't matter sort of how much of the card you've got left and what sort of offcut you've got, because we're just going to be cutting them into strips, and that's what's going to make our background. So I've already done that, so I've cut my strips into 2cm strips. As you can see here, I've got designs from both paper packs, so it really doesn't matter sort of the length of the cardstock. What matters is if you can get the sort of width of it the same. So again, I've done 2cm strips, so you can see here I've got a really small piece which was a leftover piece, but I've managed to still get a 2cm strip from it, so that'll just be an end piece that we can use, that doesn't need to be a big strip. So as you can see, they work really nicely. Even just layering them out like that, you can see already that they work so well together because they're of the same theme, and they're 2 completely sort of different designs in terms of like the colours used, and again because we've got the Miri card, I just think it works so nice together. So we might not necessarily be using all of this. So again, we'll still have offcuts, depending on, again, the length of your card and how much you have left. You might even possibly be able to make another offcut card using these strips. So what I've also done is I've cut a mat to go onto the card. So this is going to be the backing, which we're going to adhere our strips onto. So we'll move this to the side. So what the sort of general idea of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing the strips. So I like to do them in 2 sort of different directions. Let's have a look. So just sort of roughly kind of design it. So you can see that's a really long piece. Once you've cut that off, you can actually reuse that again on the card somewhere else, rather than maybe cutting more strips. If you don't have that much cardstock, if it's longer, you'll be able to reuse that again on your card. So the other thing to look out for if you're using patterns cardstock is depending on which direction the pattern's going. So as you can see here, I've actually cut this in 2 different directions. So when you're looking at it, it's always going to be the right side up for the pattern. And I've done that again, I believe, with this one as well. So I can put that down here because it's a smaller piece and it might just fit there, but I could pop it lower down where I don't need quite as long as a strip, but once again I can use it up here and the pattern is still in the right direction. So I don't know how many designs we've got, so let's have a look and try, and we want to get at least one sort of backing of each design. So need one of these, and again it depends, so like this one has got a really nice pattern and it's only on a short length of the card, so it might be that you want to use that as sort of the longer bit rather than popping it on the end where you're going to cut most of it off. But I think I might actually swap it because I want to get quite a bit of that nice shell design in there. So I'm putting them all completely next to each other. What you can do is, if you're feeling brave, is you can leave just a nice little gap between them. So you can leave like a 1 or 2 mil gap and do it that way. But I like it where it's sort of all put together and it's just strip after strip after strip. So the other thing when it comes to designing them, now I don't want to go sort of mirror card, non-mirror card, mirror card, non-mirror card, but obviously you want to sort of mix it up and make it a little bit more random. So I think we've got all of the papers on the card now, so we can start to duplicate them. The other thing to be careful about when you're actually sticking them down is looking at when you come to the corners or the edges. So as you can see there, I've got a real tiny piece that's left over. Now, when you come to cut your excess cardstock off, if you're going to put a tiny piece here, you want to make sure it's stuck down. You don't want to send your card to whoever you're sending it to and then all of a sudden there's a corner missing. So it can be a good idea to maybe start on the edge, so I know that that's not going to happen. So if I just move all of these up, let's see what happens at the other end. And really, if it's going to make much difference. So we've got a decent size there. And our cardstock will fit in. Or there might just be a gap. So again, this takes just a little bit of design to make sure that you get it right. So again, we've got a tiny little piece that's going to be missing here. So either way, we are going to have to put a small section in. Alternatively, what you could do is just change the angle of your horizontal strips and see if that makes a difference. It can be quite fiddly. So that might actually work a little better. So once you're sort of relatively happy with your design, then obviously you can go ahead and stick it down. Now, depending on what you want to use, a good thing for this, which is a little bit repositionable if you need it to be, is a tape roller. Unfortunately, I ran out this evening, so I'm just going to use some double-sided tape because I do want it to adhere and I want it to be secure. So what I'm actually going to do is put the adhesive all the way to the end. So again, you're going to have bits hanging off and you're not going to use it all, but I'd rather it be secure at the edges rather than having the edges kind of flapping about a little bit. So let's just clear my card. Let's get my card straight. So you can do it at quite a severe angle, which is quite nice as well. I'm just going to do it a little bit more subtly. So I'm going to kind of go in the middle. And then I'm going to kind of work from there. So the other thing you can do as well, so you could have 2 strips going that way. You could have a couple of strips coming down here. You could have another couple of strips. So you really could do sort of whatever pattern that you wanted to do, really. But I'm just going to do a band going horizontally and then a band vertically. Okay, so I'm coming to put the last strip in now. As you can see, what I just did is obviously I took this dotted pink one out of this space here because I thought there wasn't really a lot on the edge left, and I really wanted to get this design in. So all I did was take it up, reposition it, and I'm just going to pop that one in there. So as you can see, obviously we're nicely stuck down now. There's no gaps in between them. It's all flush together, and we've pretty much covered every gap. What you see me do here, because we had a little corner left, is actually put the double-sided tape on the cardstock rather than on the strip, and that just means that we've got the sticky tape exactly where we want it, so it's on the card, not sort of floating around on another bit of the strip. So what we're going to do now is we're going to very carefully, because I've more or less stuck it to my mat, so you want to be careful not to pull it off your back. So this is the benefit of using something like a tape runner. Oh, perfect. So again, just be careful with the edge pieces. As you can see, obviously it's quite sticky on the back. So all we're going to do now is flip it over. I'm going to get a big pair of scissors. You can do this two ways. So you can either do this with a pair of scissors, or maybe if you didn't have all the sticky tape on the back, you could use your paper trimmer. Now, I'm left-handed. If anybody can recommend me a good pair of paper crafting left-handed scissors, please comment below, because I would just absolutely love to get a proper pair of scissors. So all we're going to do is carefully cut down the side to cut off all the extra tape. We turn it over, and aside from having a lovely piece of cardstock stuck to it, which is just my luck, so just carefully pull that off. So there we have it, a really lovely background created out of just cut-offs and scrap pieces of paper. So what we have got is obviously where I've repositioned this. We've got just a little bit here, which is obviously flicking back up again. So what I'm going to do is I'll take, so I've got a smaller roll of double-sided tape. I'm just going to cut a small piece off. I'm going to slot it again on the cardstock itself. Peel it back and re-adhere. Use my big scissors. Just cut off that remaining piece of double-sided tape, which of course will get stuck to my scissors. So now that's adhered back down. So again, if I just bring it to the camera again so you can see. And just how lovely all of those different papers work together to create a really lovely and interesting background that, in all honesty, doesn't really need too much more for the card. So what I've done is, to finish this card off, we're going to mount it onto our blank card. So just grab a bit of tape, or again, whatever adhesive it is that you use. Peel the backing paper off. If I can grab it. adhere this onto our card. So what I've done is from the Miri card pack, I've taken out two die cut, so pre-die cut toppers. So we've got the really lovely mermaid here, swishing her hair, and we've got a sentiment. All I've done is pop some foam tape on the back. So I'll peel that off because we want a little bit of dimension in the card. So we'll pop that just slightly to the top so we can get our sentiment in at the bottom. So this says, have the best day ever. So again, you might, with a card like this and this kind of background, you might not necessarily want to cover a lot of the background that you've obviously taken the time to make. But as you can see, everything blends really nicely together. You've got that matte finish and then the shiny finish in there as well. And it just looks so nice together. I think the two paper packs just really mix really nicely together. So what we have got, as you can see, I've made a bit of a mess of my desk, but what we do have is all of these other cut-offs that we've actually created. So what you could do is get in a smaller piece of cardstock. So if I just grab this here, is if you've got any big enough, you could start the whole process again. But even out of that little space there, if I was to bring my paper trimmer in and cut this cardstock down, let's just cut that tiny bit off there. So there you go, all of a sudden you've got another little background using the cut-offs of our cut-offs of our cut-offs. So again, that's just really simple. So now you could use that as a little background. As you can see, this is the card that we've made, and I really love it. I just think everything goes together so nicely, and just the mix of those two different paper packs, I just think they go together so incredibly well. Then I'll show you the extra little sort of background that we created from our offcuts of making our offcut card. So again, I've just put a little foam pad behind our little topper here. And I just think it's such an easy way, again, to use your scraps, because you think, you know, you pay for your cardstock and you want to use every inch of it. So here we really have, and I've still actually got strips left from the beginning that I haven't used. So I'll be able to use these again and mix it when I get more scraps from my next projects. I'll be able to do the whole thing again and create even more and make my cardstocks go even further. So this is just using those two paper packs that I showed you, but you know, it really does work for any paper packs really. So this is just another one I've used. This is all again from the same paper pack again, apart from this dark pink one. This is a different paper pack, but again, it all just goes together. If you use that same pad, everything just goes so nicely together because it's a collection of papers in particular colours, particular theme, and I just think they make such interesting backgrounds. And like I said, just using up every inch of the cardstock that you can. So again, like I said at the beginning, please leave a comment below so I can see what it is you do with your scraps. You know, if you're a hoarder like me, like I said, I've got 4 trays of scrap bits of paper that every now and again I sort of get out and think, well, what can I do with this? And I just think this is the easiest way to use those scrap bits of paper up. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up, and again, please leave a comment below. Also, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more videos. Thanks for watching and have a lovely evening.